it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Better nice, I'm looking at the camera. Heading on, good, good, good. Preloaders, V.I.Preloaders, welcome back to the channel, guys. Always a pleasure to have you guys here with me. And you noticed by now, or at least you should, for those of you that are here for the first time, welcome to you as well. My name's Robert, and the name of this channel is Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. So guys, on this channel, we do practice sessions, and I talk about slow speed operation on the motorcycle, and I give 5 steps that I want everyone to follow on their motorcycles before they even move the motorcycle. No, starting the engine is not one of them. And these 5 steps are gonna help them just to put all this stuff together. It's 5 steps to begin with, but eventually the 5 steps go away and you just do it. It becomes muscle memory, but you have to practice. Step number 1, and it's always step number 1, it's make sure that the motorcycle is in first gear. Step number 2 is cover the rear brake. Step number 3 is preload your throttle and keep it loaded. Step number 4 is what I want to talk to you guys about. Step number 4, we slowly release the clutch into the friction zone, and we do it slowly because I want the motorcycle to start moving slowly. We don't want to just jump out, right? And then step number 5 is when the motorcycle starts to move, as soon as it starts to move, pick up your left foot. But again, we're focusing on step number 4. And what I want to talk to you guys about, and again, this is why I love doing practice sessions. I love you guys coming out because I learn something from you guys all the time. Remember guys, there's more than one way to do everything, right? And nothing is 100%. And sometimes it's variations of 2 different styles and you put them together. I want to talk to you about slowly releasing the clutch into the friction zone. So when I do that, and I advise you to do that, it's going to work most of the time, right? But I do find that people that are new to this, that initial feeling when they first start moving, they're very uncomfortable with it because as soon as they pick up their foot, they feel the bike falling. And they don't have it in their muscle memory yet to associate falling. We're just opening up the clutch a little bit to give you power, because what does the motorcycle want to do all the time with power to the rear wheel? It wants to stand up and it wants to go straight. So what do? As soon as they feel that, they put a foot back down, right? We know that's not necessary. We don't need our feet once this bike's moving. All we need is sufficient power to the rear wheel. So the tip I'm going to give you guys today is going to help out with that without sacrificing you flying off the line, right? You're still going to be able to start off slowly and in control. The 3 C's of Preloader Nation are confidence, control, and consistency, right? So we're dealing with control here, and this is going to give you a better feeling about what you're feeling as far as that feeling of falling. And that's not the only time this would come in handy, right? So, all right, let me talk to you guys about it. We're going to talk about this clutch. All right, guys, so this is going to help you out with more than just what I'm talking to you about, but I just want you to pay attention to this. Okay, so this is how my motorcycle looks with the clutch all the way out, right? All of our friction zones are different. This is how my motorcycle looks with the clutch all the way in. So right here, I'm at full power. Right here, I'm at 0 power. And what people do is when they feel, oh crap, you know, our instincts are to clinch up, they pull the clutch all the way in, and that's why motorcycles drop, because they've taken away the only thing keeping this motorcycle up at slow speeds, and that's power, sufficient power to the rear wheel. So the first thing we need to figure out is, where does the friction zone start on the motorcycle? Now I've noticed that a lot of people come out here and they practice, they start from the clutch all the way in, and then when they start to do anything, they're searching for the friction zone. In that area of searching for the friction zone, anticipating where it is, it's scary for people. It makes it scarier, right? So what I advise people to do is, pull the clutch all the way in, start the bike, do everything you have to do, follow the first 5 steps. And now I want you to start slowly opening the clutch. Remember, step number 3 is preload the throttle and keep it loaded, so you already have the power. Once you feel the bike start to move a little bit, pull the clutch back in. So now you're going to be right before the friction zone. And what this does is, now when you want to move the motorcycle, it's a very small movement to get into that friction zone. Instead of starting from here, I'm starting from here. And I always say that everything we do on the motorcycle is slow, small movements. Small movements, that's all we need. It's a bigger movement if A, you wait to address something too late. If you address it as soon as you feel it, small movement. So if I open up the clutch right here and I'm in the friction zone, this is all the power I need. This is where I'm going to stay. If it's too much power, I pull it in a little bit. All of these movements are very small. I pull it in and I feel like I need power, I let it out. I'm not pulling it in out of the friction zone. I'm just pulling it to a lower part of the friction zone. But there will come a time where I don't need any power. I'll pull it in. I'm not going to pull it all the way in, because now if I need that power, I have to go back and find it again. All right? It's not a big deal, but this just makes it easier for you. The smaller movements that you have to make, the easier it is, and it's going to help you refine your clutch movements. It's going to help you refine your clutch control, right? And that's what this is all about, small variations of movement. All right, so let me start the bike up so that you can hear it and see where my friction zone is. All right, now we're going to preload the throttle because I open my clutch. See, you hear it barking? The engine's going to go down. Preload my throttle. Start opening, right there. I feel my bike moving. That's where I like my friction zone. I don't want my hands all the way out. Pull it in, nothing. Right there, it's starting to move, so I'll pull it right there. So now, if I'm ready to move, bam, look at that. Nice and easy. So what I'm advising people to do if they don't like that feeling of I'm falling as soon as I pick my hand up because I'm opening the clutch slow, remember, address it as soon as you feel it, and it's a small movement. So you're right before the friction zone. Instead of slowly releasing the clutch, open it quicker and then close it right back, right? So you're opening it quicker to get that bike to stand up. And as soon as it stands up where you don't feel falling, pull it back in. I'm not saying pull it all the way back in. There are some cases where pulling the clutch all the way in is appropriate, right? But depending on what you're doing, pulling it back in but a lower part of the friction zone might be all you need to do because you want to keep moving. All right, guys, so I'm going to take you over to the cones, short starts and stops, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how beneficial it can be to, instead of opening the clutch very slowly, open it up a little bit quicker and then pulling it right back in. And that way you don't feel that falling. All right, let's do it. All right, guys, so I got Valiant here. I have my cone set up. This exercise is short starts and stops, and the purpose of this exercise is to only give you a minimal amount of space to start the motorcycle and stop it smoothly. Start it smoothly, stop it smoothly. And this is where a lot of people run into problems. So I'm going to demonstrate to you first doing it just by opening the clutch slowly into the friction zone. Like I said, it works out most of the time, but sometimes people don't like that feeling. And then I'm going to show you the technique I was talking to you about earlier, where if you don't even want to risk feeling that, just open it up quickly and close it back, right? You're not popping it, you're not doing anything crazy, right? We're always controlled, but you just want that bike to stand up and then get right back to where it was. All right, let's do it. Smooth stop. Okay, so now I'm gonna slowly release the clutch into the friction zone. As soon as the bike starts to move, pick my foot up. Foot up. See, no problems there, right? And guys, remember, regardless of which way I'm doing it, I'm not starting with the clutch all the way in. I'm bringing the clutch right before I feel like it's gonna bite, holding it right there. So now it's a small movement. Preload the throttle. Instead of releasing it very slowly, there we go. Quick pickup. That's all I need. Let me show you that again. All right, ready guys? Preload. Clutch is already right before the friction zone, so I don't have a long travel. That's it. See guys, so it's not like when I say release the clutch quick, people will think, oh crap, I think something's gonna happen, I'm gonna be out of control. No, it's very quick. That's all you need to get this bike to stand up and make you feel a little bit better about what you're feeling, right? And if you need it more, you would give yourself more. It's all based on what you're feeling. That's why I always tell people when we come out here, we're gonna be in our feelings. So of course, the first way I did it the front suspension, you should barely see any difference in it when I start, versus the other way, you're gonna see the suspension bounce, but as soon as it goes up, it comes right back down because I pull the clutch right back in to a lower part of the friction zone or out of the friction zone altogether. All depends on what I'm feeling. And yes, guys, this is obviously gonna help you out with this exercise because you have a minimal amount of space, 15 feet, to start the motorcycle and stop. You don't wanna have a lot of speed, right? Because then the stop's gonna be abrupt and we don't want that. I want a smooth stop. So if you pick the bike up quickly, pull the clutch right back in, it's better preparing you to start gradually applying rear brake to bring the motorcycle to a smooth stop. And at that speed, of course, the motorcycle is going to want to do this. That's why we go back into the friction zone a little bit while we're applying pressure to the rear brake. 80% brake, 20% power to the rear wheel. The power to the rear wheel is just to keep the bike straight, upright. And then you finish it off, smooth friction zone, rear brake, bing, and your foot comes down nice and easy. All right, listen, I hope this video helped you out. If you had any questions about anything like this, I want you to give that a try and see if that helps you. And like I said before, that method's gonna come into play if you're in a confined area and you wanna move the motorcycle without duck walking the motorcycle, but you're worried about that initial feeling of falling. That's how you handle that. That also comes in handy, exercise number 4, when you're making right turns, left turns from a stop. It's the initial takeoff from a stop that people have a problem with. Because of that same reason, they feel fallen, the motorcycle starts going to the right when they're trying to go left. That's because they're opening the clutch too slowly, right? The motorcycle is always gonna wanna fall with no power, especially if it's barely moving. Open it up quicker, problem solved. Guys, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Hit the like button, that helps out the algorithm. Share these videos with people that you know and love. And hit that notification bell and switch it to all so you never miss a video when I put one out. Guys, I say it all the time and I'm always going to say it. A, I love you, I'm going to say that. B, break out of the mold of the average rider. If you didn't watch that video, I'll put it up here. C, spend more time being thankful for the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. And D, seat time doesn't equal practice time, guys. And if you have time to ride your motorcycles, you have time to practice on them. That's not my opinion. Until next time.